Hey, good evening. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I guess you will have guessed that as I got my reading glasses on, poor old fart that I am, I'm going to read something to. I I've always been puzzled by the fact that we rush from here to there because we're never happy with here, and yet once we get over there, then that becomes here, doesn't it? So in other words, wherever you go, you take your baggage with you. Now, we all have baggage. I'm sorry, you may be thinking that you're an ascended being. Got news for you. If you're on the planet Earth, you've got work to do. Okay, and that's for all of us. But anyway, now there's this man called Dr. Tom. And I have every respect for Dr. Tom because he touched on something that is very real to me. This was on Facebook, so I'm giving Dr. Tom the credit for this, and I hope that he will that he'll feel okay about that because, well, as I say, Dr. Tom, you did a good one here. He did a post on Facebook, and he said, "You came here from there, uninvited. Now that you're here, you're not happy here. You want to change here to be like there. We like it here. We don't want to change here. That doesn't make us phobic, racist, or anti-whatever you are. It just means we're happy here. It isn't perfect, but we like it. If you don't like it, tough. Go back to Suckistan and change there." Dr. Tom. Good one, Dr. Tom. I love the idea that as soon as you think you have left here to get to there, you think everything's going to be changed. And whoever shared this came from Freedom of Speech Productions, right? And the person who shared this, this is a favorite thing of mine about life in the Philippines. It's not perfect. It's not paradise. Gosh, the number of people that actually get in touch with me and say, "You live in paradise." I don't live in paradise at all. I haven't got a flushing toilet. So, this was posted on one of the expat sites here in the Philippines, is what I gather. And it says, whoever posted it said, "Doesn't this also apply to many of the foreigners who come here to the Philippines and then want to change it?" Something like that. I didn't get the whole thing. But anyway, in other words, I've always said that people have fled here from various countries in the world. Places like the UK, places like Australia, America, lots of Americans here. And they get here, and here is not like there. It really isn't. But what's wrong with that? We fled over there to get to here, and now what? We're going to change it? Now suddenly we're thinking about all of the things that we can't have here that we could have there. And I guarantee that everything that you miss over there involved some kind of regulation, some way of setting a rule so that this never happens again. That's in the UK, of course. Well, not having all the regulation is part of the wonder of living in this paradise. Now, a little while ago, Actually, it's quite a while ago now that we were in Tagbilaran and we were taking someone to hospital, Beth and I. And while she was in there doing her Wonder Woman and navigating the system on behalf of two more simple folk, you know, used to leading a different kind of life, farmers, who didn't know how to negotiate or navigate the system, and they sat there mute and appreciative, and Beth did the work. And I remember in that case she got that, instead of having to pay 150,000 pesos for a gallbladder or a kidney stone or something like that, gallbladder or kidney stone, they got it for nothing because of what Beth was able to do. Meanwhile, in one masterly stroke, I'd parked the truck in the wrong place, and when I went back, I had a ticket. And for God's sake, this is the Philippines. What's with the ticket? Well, it turns out that it's Tagbilaran. Now, I'm looking at, in fact, I was chatting with someone, messaging someone, who actually has a home in, this is Michael and Bonnie, I believe it is, and they have a home here in Talibon. So much of what we write and show on our videos about Talibon is very real to them, and we're going to meet them. Look forward to that very much. But I had to say that Talibon is changing fast, and guess what? It's changing here, and I'm afraid it's going to end up like there, and I don't want that. I want it to stay like here. Now, why do I love it here? Well, we have people that they'll help you park, and they'll help you park your truck or your car, and then they'll wave you out and they'll stop the traffic, and they do this for a few pesos. But they look very official, so you think that they're part of the system, so you can actually omit or fail to give them anything. And sometimes I wonder, was I right giving them anything in the first place? So I go with my parking ticket from Tagbilaran, which doesn't say what I'll be fined, doesn't give me any time to go there, doesn't threaten me with penalties, doesn't do any of those things which in a highly regulated different kind of paradise it would. I mean, you go into LA, which was my last experience of a parking ticket, go into LA, and it's, if you're parked on a hill, it tells you on the parking restrictions you can park within the bay, and within the parking bay, that's within the white lines. Don't be over the white lines, you naughty boy, right? Because that's an offence. So I walked away from my truck. And the little detail that I forgot to say is that as it's on a hill, you've got to park with your, I mean, it does make sense, you have to park with your wheels faced into the curb, so that if the truck suddenly started to move when you were out at the dentist or something, it would just come to a stop against the thing, all 1 foot of it while you're parked away from the curb. So I'm walking away, I've done this, I've parked within the bay, but it was a bit of a tight squeeze, so I gave it one last look as I was walking away, and I could see that my front bumper was actually right on the line. I thought some is going to give me a ticket because I'm not within the bay. So I went back in, started the truck up, backed away a few feet, not a few feet, a foot or so, so I was within the white line, the little box that they give you to park within. A job well done. I walked away. And what did I forget? Well, when I got back, I had a ticket for not parking with my wheels turned into the curb. Now, when you get a ticket in LA, if my memory serves me right, there's all kinds of stuff written on that ticket. You've got to get back and pay that ticket within a certain time. If you don't pay it within, if you pay the ticket within the given, I've got mosquitoes around. If you pay the ticket, then it will be, say, I think at that time it was about $36. So you pay $36 or $38, and you're free again. Isn't it wonderful in here? So you're free again. Now, if you don't pay within that specific amount of time, then it goes up to, I don't know, I'm guessing now the number's $58. And if you still don't pay, it goes up to $68 or $78. And then you've got to go to court. And if you don't go to court, you will be judged guilty in your absence. And you will have a fine of this much money. Oh God, it goes on and on and on. And all of the instructions and penalties and threats and annihilation is all on that one piece of paper that when you park in America you just dread to see. So, armed with all of this experience, I take this little piece of paper which doesn't tell me any penalties, which doesn't tell me how much I owe, or how long I've got to get in there to pay it, or where I go. Put it into my glove compartment and I forgot about it. And then once when I was in Talibon, I got the ticket in Tagbilaran. When I was in Talibon, I said to Beth, well, I think I'll go into the LTO. That's the transport office, right? And I'll pay this ticket and just find out. And I just pay the ticket. What can it be? So I go in there and there's a lady and a gentleman, and they're sitting at a desk and they field every inquiry that comes in the door. Right. So I go up and I speak to the lady who, because it's the Philippines, smiles and says, hello, how are you, sir, and all of this. And I said, I've got a parking ticket, can I pay it? And well, she sort of looked at the ticket like this. I've got no idea. We don't give parking tickets in Talibon. You see, I like Talibon as it is. There's no parking tickets. If you park in the wrong place, it doesn't bring the world to an end. The world still stops turning on its axis. You don't pile up debt after debt with threat after threat, because the regulation hasn't hit here yet. There's one particular place, it's like a little open hut, like a little box with two glass windows and a doorway with no door on it, and it says Pulis, P-U-L-I-S. And it's got a man sitting in there that I've never actually spoken to. And that's most of what I see of the police in Talibon. I see a truck that comes up every so often, and it looks like it's equipped to take maybe, I don't know, 6 or 10 passengers in the back, and I see a policeman driving it, and nothing ever happens. Once, when I was in honesty blocking the way of a narrow part between the vendors, this is in Taliban market, the vendors and the parked motorcycles. And I was in the little truck, and I'm not parked, I'm stopped there. So I've got the motor running and I could have moved. And somebody pulled up who was on a motorcycle, and he looked at me, and he kind of looked like this. And so I smiled at him, hi. And he went, and then he rode off. It was only when he rode off that I realised it was a policeman. So that was my one encounter with a policeman, and I haven't had any other encounters. If I see a roadblock, I usually just wave to them and slow down, but I drive through, and I've never actually been stopped. So leave Talibon alone, please, you regulators. I'm quite happy with the way that it is, selfish though I am. Anyway, I've been talking for too long, which is my usual thing. Thanks for listening in. This is a foreigner in the Philippines, unregulated. Bye for now.